Where's your beef this year for you guys? Part of that is your schedule. Man, it's a tough schedule for your team this year.
Yeah, we've talked about trying to frame that as running into the storm. I think the very first day, report day, we showed a video. It was somewhere in Texas where there was a rancher, and he was talking about all types of animals when storms come. Cows, for example, will run away from the storm. They can try to get away from it when the storm comes in, lightning and thunder and all that. And as they run away from it, they're really kind of staying in line with the storm, right? They're in harm's way longer. And so they're saying that buffalo is really the only animal that runs into the storm. And so it's just to run into it and kind of embrace it, you know. And so seeing that when we do get in practice and there are those tough times and all that, as it naturally comes, you can hear guys say all that in the back. And so I think, they've kind of taken to it.
I like that. That's great.
Do you ever really know who you have as a team or what your team is until they play their first game or they get tested the first time?
No, I think so. I think what's inside of them, and I think coaches see the greatness inside of players. I think what happens sometimes is that there's never really just a scent, and so the greatest player development is really coach development, and so that when things are hard or things don't go as planned and all this other thing, that coaches can really be better, because you end up coaching who you are. And it's in those critical moments where anything that was built up when the sun was shining and the days are happy and bright that are lost when the storm hits, And so I think the ability to kind of weather all of that and to really kind of invite it, because that is where we grow, and then kind of to meet people where they're at and kind of build them up, I think builds a better you, builds a better person. And so I feel like we're in a good spot, but there hasn't been a bunch of stormy weather, thunder and lightning and all of it, and that's when you really kind of get to see kind of how this house was built. And so we'll see with the leadership part. I'm hoping that all the work that was done previous is for our best now.
Kind of in that same vein, the first big road test last year at Oklahoma State, you saw a lot of the newer guys blink. Mm-hmm. How do you then prepare for the hostile environment on Saturday?
From the very beginning, from January all the way on, just every obstacle that's hard, everything that's not easy, everything that's not, that's not comfort, right? Saying yes to those things.
Dave, you coached a game in Provo back in 2012. What do you remember about the atmosphere at LaVell Edwards, and why is it such a hard place to play?
Well, they're great at welcoming you at the beginning of the game, and just a really kind of friendly fan base. And once you get in, it's packed and it gets loud. And I think especially now that the games are later in the evening, that's a whole thing as well. Just in your hotel, looking at the clock, And so I think there is a home field advantage there. That's a storm that we have to run into, and we've been talking about that and preparing for that, and so we'll see.